Okay, great. So thank you for meeting us and giving us some time. First of all, I wanted to ask if by any chance, as for Immortal Instruments, you have a chance to see the movie? Clips, maybe?
I've seen the movie rough cut, not the total final draft. So, not with the sound mixed and not really with the full special effects, but they're going to show some of the footage during the panel that we're doing, and I think that will probably be the first time I see that scene with the special effects in, so I'm excited about it.
Enough about the clips, the little bit that you've seen, what seems to really stand out and when make you want to really look forward to seeing it?
Performances. I mean, it's really strong. The acting is really strong, and I think that it elevates it because, with genre movies, you can often get a sort of concentration on effects or spectacle or, any of a lot of other things that kind of take precedence over the characters and the acting. But I feel like the characters are so strong and the acting is so strong that I'm really excited about that.
Okay, and then as being the writer of the book and the movie, is there a part of the movie that you're really thrilled, enthusiastic to see come live?
I'm really excited about seeing the Magnus Bane's party, which is one of my favorite scenes to write, just because it's completely full of all of these supernatural creatures, the Kelpies and the warlocks and the fairies and the banshees and the vampires and the werewolves and all partying together. I don't know if I've seen a scene like that in a movie before. I don't want to claim that it's like the first one but that's the first time I can think of something like that. The real classic like urban fantasy of just grouping all of these creatures together and then having, what are they doing? They're just partying. And so I'm really psyched to see that.
That's great. And as you were writing the book, and were you able to visualize like a certain actress to play the main role?
I didn't really. I generally try not to, as we call it, fan cast, because the people that you fan cast in your head are never going to be people who are actually in the movie. And, I always warn my fans, fan casting, it's never, it never happens. The people they imagine, I've seen it millions of times. And the people I remember back in the day when they were casting Harry Potter, it was never the person that people imagine. So I kind of try to stick with just what my mental image is of the character. But in terms of sometimes I would see little bits of performances or things like that and think, that's kind of what I imagine as a kind of Clary type character. So that came when we were doing the casting process and whatnot. I would talk about that, like the performance that so-and-so gave here.
Okay, so you were involved in the casting process.
Oh yeah, I was really involved.
Great. And how was the excitement, the feeling of seeing it all just start to develop and ideas?
Stuff was amazing. I mean, it was amazing to see so many actors, known faces and unknown faces, and hundreds of people tried out for Jace, for Simon, for Alec, and it was incredible to see them, to see all these different interpretations of the character, and kind of go okay, the moment when you see the right one and it sort of clicks in and you're like, that's the character. It's really kind of a magical moment.
So were you involved, or did you get to see part of the filming?
Yeah, I was on set for about 3 weeks in Toronto. I came up for 2 weeks and I left. I came back for another 1 week towards the end. So I was definitely. I was on stage. I was on set, and I got to watch the dailies and watch the video, and I was even an extra.
Really? Which part?
I'm in Magnus's party. I'm a cat demon, so they had these metal cat ears that they glued to my head. And then it was a night shoot, so it went from 10 o'clock at night to 4 in the morning, and I had to go straight to the airport, get on a plane, and I couldn't get the cat ears off.
Oh, wow.
I had to do the whole flight home with the cat ears.
Souvenir.
Yeah, the metal detector was kind of a problem.
I imagine. Well, then how exciting is that? Is there any, from getting to be a part of the extras, something funny, memorable from the filming?
Let me think. I mean, for me, it was kind of watching the actors be their characters in the downtime moments between filming. They would turn the camera off and they'd have, they were still in their positions, and Jamie and Kat Kevin would be just their best friends in the film. They'd be like having a contest to see who could like jump the highest, you know, kind of thing. And it was cool, and to see them, you know, retain their characters even when the camera was off. And it's funny because Jamie is in personality, like when you meet him, he's sarcastic. But other than that, like he's a sweetie. He's a really nice guy. And Jason kind of a jerk. So like when he was on set, he was like Jace. So he was like, you know, from 9 to like, you know, 6, I'm a jerk. And then 6, I'm a nice person again. So I was just like, I remind myself not to ask him for things between 9 and 6.
Between work hours.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's just like in that space of being like this really like, you know, bitter, like kind of like angry, sarcastic, closed off guy. And then the rest of the time he's like goofy.
Wow, that's great. So you were really involved with the cast.
Yeah.
That's
we had, they were working 14-hour days, and I would come to the set for, you know, 5 hours, 6 hours. I'd get tired and go home, and they'd be like, "Sucks that you can go home and we can't go home." Like, so you know, I think they bonded really strongly though, because they were on set for so long, and they had all of this really, you know, difficult like physical training and stuff like that to do. And so when I did get to hang out with them, I kind of felt like, I mean, I just feel like, you know, I'm proud of the movie, I'm proud of the cast, so I kind of feel like their mom. I'm like, I'm a happy mom.
That's okay. That's okay, as long as you're happy. So can you tell me a little bit about the moment when you found out that your book was going to be filmed?
You know, it was like a series of moments, because I sort of, you know, grew up in LA, and I worked for a long time for entertainment journalism, and I knew how chancy things were with movies, and so I never believed it. You know, they said, okay, well, we're going to do the movie. All right. Here's the screenplay. Okay. You know, we're going to have a release date. All right. I'm like, it could still fall apart. They start casting. They cast the whole cast. I'm like, it could still come to pieces. You know, like, it can cancel something at any moment. And, you know, it wasn't until I literally walked onto the set that I thought they were really making this movie, and I had started to cry a little bit. And Harold found me and was like, "You not like the set?" And I was like, "No, it's not." But they just let me on the set. They were like, "Here it is. You know, it's a huge room in an abandoned glass factory, and there's this massive, you know, building on the institute and the institute library that I had written about. You know, it looked perfect." And I was just like, "Oh my God, they're actually making this movie. And I'm in the institute." It was amazing.
Oh, that's fascinating to hear. I mean, imagine the emotion.
Yeah, it's really overwhelming.
All at once. Okay, well, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
It's great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.